If you're just starting off, there are several template-based tools and platforms you can turn to for logo design. Logo Maker, Free Logo Design, Canva are just a few popular choices. You can choose from an array of fonts, shapes, colors, and design templates. This is also a great way to start visualizing the end result like a designer. The drawback of these easy and seemingly free platforms are: 1. They are not really free. You can create a design completely free of cost, but you have to subscribe and pay to download good quality and necessary file formats. 2. They lack individuality. Even though there is a wide range of elements to choose from, your choices may show up in many other designs across the world. Maybe an emblem, a quirky font, or a graphic illustration. Logos demand a unique personality. Let's keep that in mind and try to make our template-based logos distinctive. Let's use Canva since it truly offers a great variety of design choices. I'm looking at logo templates. Even though the animated logos pop out as instantly attractive, I'd like to avoid this style because I know that our client's key requirement is for the logo to create an impression in print, on signboards and packaging material. Let's try the food and drink logo folder. I have a feeling we'll find bright and fresh templates in there. How about this one? Most of the other designs don't have an Indian traditional look. This one will need a lot of tweaking too, but the purple color along with this font could really work for us. The brand name in all caps isn't looking great. Let's try this. Much better. I'm loving this tagline idea. Let's add this as a suggestion for the client. And a little resizing magic. Let's move on to the colors. A square logo with an emblem-like design? Not our intended style. So let's get rid of this background. I do love the purple, so I'm going to bring it back. I remember from our research, we concluded that we want to avoid bright yellow. How about gold and orange instead, with a little highlight? This combination of colors feels royal and festive. Instead of a flat circle, I'd like this element to have a slight three-dimensional look. Gradients are a perfect fit. What do you think? How would you use gradient? Now on to making this distinctive. Several languages across India present this line in their scripts. Let's combine that with our Roman script, our English text. I feel like this establishes the idea that this is an Indian brand. What do you think of this logo idea? How would you creatively upgrade a template? Quick note: as a designer working in India, you will very often be required to design logos in both English and a regional language. While the colors and design elements will remain the same across scripts and languages, the typeface will need creative styling. Make sure the 2 or 3 scripts that you work with look like they're in the same family and showcase a uniform brand identity. Now that we have our sketch on our canvas in Inkscape, I'm going to reduce the opacity so I can use it as a rough guide or skeleton. This is completely a personal choice, but I like to create designs in black or dark grey and add color at a later stage. I'm going to start by creating a grid. A grid ensures that your letters, shapes and forms are uniform and aligned as intended. As we move forward in this process, I'll talk about a few foundation tools to create vector designs. These tools may look a little different depending on the software, but their primary function is the same. Once you get to know the tool, you can smoothly transition between softwares. You can always watch tutorials on YouTube or go to the help section to solve technical queries. Quick tip: you can slow down this video to review the steps. Let's start with the text. I want to choose a simple font. There are several fonts that are free for commercial use. Make sure you read up on the license details when choosing a font. It is frowned upon when designers use a font just as it is in a wordmark or combination logo. This is because a simple typeface would not stand out or be memorable or significant. You can make small creative tweaks to fix this problem. Okay, I've turned this text into what's called a path. Notice these little squares? They're nodes that you can move and mold to make your shapes dance. When designing with vectors, think of every element as a shape made up of basic shapes. Everything can be made up of squares and circles. I'm going to use a part of this hollow circle to create the wing in our design. You may have noticed that I tried a few tweaks, didn't like them, went back a few steps and tried again. It's like a game if you're up for being playful with your design. I'm adjusting nodes to make two shapes look cohesive. The reason I kept the wing as a separate shape though is so I can duplicate it and flip it for the other side. Okay, now I feel like our sketch guide is messing with the process, so I'm just going to move it away from the canvas. Let's experiment a little. I use rectangles to measure and create grids. This is just my way. You can develop your own process. The more thorough you are with each measurement, the more refined your design will be. I'm using the grid guidelines to create the frame. This outline can be created by filling no color but applying a stroke in the color of your choice. You can also decide the thickness or width of your stroke. You can pull on the corner nodes to get a uniform curve instead of a pointy corner. You can turn off the grid lines when you want to look at your design as a whole. Okay, I just cut into the stroke and now I'm free to make the edges smooth. Inkscape has this squiggly tool and it's perfect to create the jalebi-like icon for our logo. So many nodes. It can be overwhelming, but very soon you will develop your own systems to keep your designs clean. I'm using a circle here to complete the icon. So this icon as a whole is a bit lopsided. It's not a perfect circle, but I like it that way because it represents a dessert that is not a perfect circle. And the shape is unique instead of a cookie cutter mold. This is purely an aesthetic choice. It's a good time to reflect on your aesthetic and style. Do you like pure, perfect forms or illustrative, fluid designs? Think about it. Okay, over to the spiral design on this icon. I think semicircles ought to do it. I may seem to be a little haphazard. You can be more precise if you want a perfectly symmetrical, uniform design. You can set precise angles to each rotation of a shape. I'm going though with our intended style. I want it to look hand done, a little away from perfect symmetry. Take a step back every now and then to review your design. Adding a few embellishments to the frame now. This logo seems to be standing at the intersection of a combination logo and an emblem. Okay, this looks to me like it's a polished vector graphic version of our rough sketch. Now that I see it though, I feel like the frame with the brand name is looking a bit too thin. It doesn't have enough strength. So let's create a stronger version. I'm going to style the icon a little differently. A floral element, I believe, might bring in a more celebratory sort of feel. Design can be such an immersive experience. Let's create variations of the logo so the client can understand her preferences better and may choose elements from more than one design. I'd like to try a font with more weight. It might have a bolder effect, especially as a signboard. I want to create one option that showcases a serif font. I feel like it will look more traditional, more elegant. But we don't want it to look like boring old text. It's a logo after all, and it deserves a personality and mood. Looks like we have our variations. They look good, don't they? They're in sync with the brief as well. Now for the touch that will give the brand a big part of its identity: color. As discussed with the client, we can go with festive, bright colors. At the foundation of the brand are history, tradition, and diversity. So I'd want to avoid neon or pop color palettes. I'm pairing bright colors with a subdued pastel color. As we move forward to create this presentation for the client, let's put our best or our favorite design as the first step forward. I'm going to add the color codes or hex codes of this logo. You can do the same for all the logos. These details are not necessary at this stage, but it shows the thought you have put into your choices. This is the first draft, of course. A couple of rounds of tweaks may follow. Winning the confidence of the client, though, is something we can do every step of the way. Remember, pay attention to the brief. Do your research. Mind map. Do word associations. Doodle. Doesn't matter if you're not a great sketch artist. Play with the tools in your software. Don't get intimidated. There are a ton of help and support platforms. Get inspired by your own designs. Create variations to include more ideas. Present your design like a professional, with precision, thought, and flow. A great way to learn to think like a designer is to study the work and thought process of iconic designers and their designs. Let's explore one of the most cleverly designed logos. Unilever is a British-Dutch multinational consumer goods company. It owns over 400 brands, and products include nutrition, hygiene, and healthcare. Founded in 1929, Unilever started out with a simple typeface. It was only much later that Wolf Ollins, a brand consultancy agent, developed this logo. The U is made up of 25 icons, each representing a sub-brand, product, or value of Unilever. At its foundation was the idea, adding vitality to life. The Unilever website beautifully illustrates the meaning of the logo. Let's take a look at the design, as well as its clever presentation. Thanks Unilever for making it so easy for us to study your logo. The bright blue stands out instantly, doesn't it? The word Unilever is sort of a handwritten or inked style, yet very refined and welcoming. Can you spot the 25 icons in the big blue U? The cone with the ice cream swirl, representative of pleasure, dessert, and fun. The hand, a symbol of sensitivity and care. It connects with Unilever's health and hygiene brands and initiatives. The locks of hair, symbolizing beauty and associated products. The lips, they represent the idea of honest communication. The swirl, this reminds us of something stirring, doesn't it? It represents passion for great flavors and taste. The fish, pointing towards nature's resources, fresh food, and the sea. The t-shirt, symbolic of fashion and confidence, and as they would like to put it, fresh laundry. The bee represents a community spirit as well as Unilever's efforts towards reducing their environmental footprint. These little dots, they're particles, indicative of science and innovation. This bottle-like graphic symbolizes packaging. The company stands for sustainable packaging and care for the consumer as well as the planet. These abstract patterns presenting natural elements symbolize positive change and transformation with respect to the company's sustainability values. The waves and water droplets show cleanliness, freshness, and vigor. The DNA icon. This one is an interesting representation, isn't it? The double helix, the genetic blueprint of life, and a symbol of Unilever's strong heritage of positive change. The palm tree symbolizes respect for the forest, growth, and environment. The heart exudes the idea of love, care, and health. These arrows show a virtuous cycle, a continuous circle that represents Unilever's efforts towards reducing waste associated with the disposal of their products. I feel reminded of recycling every time I see this icon. The splash of sun. This icon symbolizes a source of light and renewable energy. Unilever works towards finding innovative ways to reduce the greenhouse gas impact of their products. The bird is a dove, presenting freedom, empowerment, and self-esteem. The plant looks a little bit like tea leaves, doesn't it? It symbolizes the natural world we live in. This icon is a spark. It represents Unilever's role as a catalyst for change. The chili pepper, a fresh ingredient in their products. It represents their commitment to sustainable sourcing. Isn't that a sweet-looking spoon? The spoon icon is indicative of nutrition and cooking. The bowl icon is one of my favorites. The bowl shows great-smelling food, symbolizing great ingredients and healthy meal times. The flower, a symbol of sensitivity, care, and Unilever's respect for beauty. The logo manages to include an array of ideas and values in its contained and elegant space. When reduced to a size smaller than an inch, it still looks like a recognizable U in an aesthetic pattern. The inclusion of so many icons has been made possible because of the simplistic and smooth rendering of each shape. While some would argue that this approach to logo design is a recipe for disaster, the polished execution of a larger-than-life idea makes us believe that every design rule can be creatively used without the rules restricting or limiting our ideas.